Wanna cause no problems. I just wanna live my life, but I keep on hearing about nonsense. Me and my dons ain't mobsters, but you know when you see imposters, we know how to read them faces, same way you know how to read them comments. If you wanna talk, let's talk, but around here, make sure you walk and your talk is constant.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Death to Vanilla podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Burkhart, and this is my co-host, Rylan Schrader.
Hi, I'm Rylan. I'm the content manager for Burkhart Creative Agency, and I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah, we're super excited, and the Death of Vanilla podcast is all about courageously creating, boldly innovating, and experimenting. Why? Because then that way you can get better than usual results by doing something different, and it helps you stand out. And today we're going to talk about something that I'm sure you've probably seen around on the Instagram and the TikTok, which is meme videos. And so we actually executed on a strategy using a recent trend. And so tell us a little bit about that trend and what made you decide to move forward with that.
Yeah, so one thing that just recently, I guess it was kind of recent when we're shooting this video, Threads just recently came out. And so that was really big and trending, obviously, on Instagram, on Twitter, like all over, and which it was trending for like 2 days and then it dropped, which was kind of silly, but whatever. So one thing I saw that was reoccurring a lot within the space of like Instagram and the marketing space was a lot of people were making fun of it almost because of how crazy it was and how fast it blew up and all this stuff. So one thing that we decided to do was we had a meme, and it's kind of trending. It was the Jennifer Lawrence meme where she's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" And she's talking on Hot Ones, and it's super funny, but it was a trending thing. And so we posted a clip of Elon waking up to find out there's 15 million users on Threads, and it was her, and it ended up blowing up quite a bit, which was super awesome. But we really just harnessed what was happening in the digital space and kind of made fun of it almost in a relatable but also on brand sort of way.
Absolutely. And I think that is really leads us perfectly into really our first point that we wanted to hit on this specific episode, which is how does a meme video actually develop brand awareness? And so I think that sometimes when a company is making content, they're so concerned about like telling the story, which we love. Mm-hmm. Telling the story is so important. But there's a part that they're forgetting, which is, do people even know the name of your company, right? Yes. So even though there's this piece of content that really doesn't represent your company or your values or your product in any way, shape, or form, it's still getting your logo and your name and your profile in front of so many more people than you normally would with your content. And let's be honest, like, we're an agency, we do cool things, but like we don't have nearly the same kind of like audience and attraction level that say like, you know, an Instagram model would have, or like a home interior designer or someone else where like everything to do is like incredibly visually appealing and exciting and people want to get involved with it. So we kind of have that against us, like many other companies that don't have like the most interesting process or the most interesting product. And so then how do you like break through? Well, then you produce something that's going to get shared and seen and people are following. And that meme video to me was exactly like that. In fact, we had this amazing statistic that we ended up finding. According to HubSpot, social media posts with humorous content have a 37% higher engagement rate compared to posts without humor. And that's engagement rate. That's not view count. And what we discovered is the views were like thousands of percent better than our normal content, just because it hit just right.
Yeah, that, and we had a lot better engagement on that one too, because a lot of people were commenting like, well, we'll see how long this lasts, and we were like, okay, whatever.
Right.
But one thing I think we did right, and I see some businesses doing wrong, is that we were still within the space of our audience, right? We weren't so far off that our audience wasn't, like, this is something our audience should be talking about, and like, this is something our audience knew about, which is why we did this. We didn't just do it out of the blue and nowhere. And something I've seen recently with Duolingo, I feel like they've gone so far off brands with the memes, and like at first it was really funny and their TikTok was great, and now like recently their Threads and like stuff like that, it's just not even applicable to their brand whatsoever, and it's kind of like, what's going on, guys? So I think that was something that brands should also consider when they're making memes. Like, yes, like it was kind of different from what we would normally do, but it was still within the space of our audience.
For sure, yeah, because it was about Threads and the conversation between that and Twitter and so on and so forth. So yeah, absolutely. And that's so funny that you say that, because I didn't realize that was your current opinion on Duolingo, because you showed me their account and we're like, hey, they're doing really cool things.
Yes.
And they are. They're doing like some fun, innovative things. But you can do a good thing too much.
Yes, they took it a step too far, I think, and I forget who it was. I saw like a branding titan, and they commented, they're like, what are brands doing? And it was and it was so off brands, not even like close to, and it was a thread I think I saw of them, and it was just like not even, I didn't even know it was Duolingo. It was so weird, but
Got the Ryland disapproval.
Yeah, it made me giggle, but I just was like, this doesn't make me want to download Duolingo or learn a new language or anything of that sort.
For sure. So obviously we can do things that are off-brand, but we can also still lose the strategy behind why we're making the content to begin with, because obviously it all has to kind of work for the greater good, whether it's awareness or helping customers to make decisions or what have you. When it comes to like calls to action and all of that that goes along with that, how do we tie making something like a meme video into actually doing something for the brand and for the business itself with like real numbers?
Yeah, totally. One person I see that's doing this really well is my orthodontist. Their audience is a younger generation, and they use like trending memes, and they go, I think one of the big ones they have is, it's this meme about when you find out something and it's all dramatic, whatever. It's like one of those memes, and they're just basically talking about how they have the lowest prices for like payment plans in the Valley. And I think that they do that really well, because they're stating what they have. They're telling us about their product. And at the end, they're like, click this link. And it's a really fast, really like, just check this out. Like nothing over the top to where people don't want to continue to watch the video. Because I think sometimes brands go in for the kill too fast, and they're like, oh, click our link, like check us out. But like, I don't know anything about it. I don't know. Like the meme really is like a soft way of being like, look at us. And then you kind of like go for the kill at the end after you've already entertained them, you've already engaged them, they already know what they're getting themselves into. So it's kind of like, you know, a little fist bump before you go for the hug.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Make sure they're ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's so great. I think that, you know, you want to have those things in place, the call to action, because at that point, like, you still got to ask yourself, even though the video is really just meant for brand awareness, you still got to ask yourself, like, you know, if I don't put a call to action in, then there's someone who might see it, who might want to take action on it. And if I have not given them a call to action, the percentage of them to actually take an action is dramatically low. And anyone who's ever worked in websites knows that that's the case. Like, you put call to action after call to action after call to action on landing pages and websites. It's really no different with social media. In fact, I think, I'm not mistaken, you got a statistic to share about that.
A survey conducted by Animoto found that 64% of consumers make a purchase after watching a branded social video that includes a call to action at the end. And I think sometimes it's not just that call to action at the end. I think sometimes it's that little call to action in the caption, or maybe it's the little link that pops up right at the end. It's just anything, right? It's being like, look what we have, and now you can check us out. Here's this easy way to get to us. We've already showed you what we're about. If you don't have, and the nice thing is, it weeds out people that don't want anything to do with your brand. Because at the end of the day, not everyone's going to want you. As bad as you want to, like, it's just, not everyone's going to want you, know? It's like dating. Like, not everyone's going to want to date you. You got to get over it. So it weeds out the people that are interested in your brand, and then it kind of like gets those people to that finish line.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, and people are, I think the thing that brands forget is people are on these platforms to laugh and enjoy their life and maybe learn a little bit. So, like, if you are being too serious and you're like, oh, like, well, this is just doesn't fit my brand, like, this isn't very serious, well, then you're probably going to struggle on social media, because people are not there to, like, take a deep dive in how your product integrates with this other product. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's not why people are on there. That's why people read blogs.
Yeah, true.
Right. So I think in closing, really just the thing that I would encourage business owners to do is to give them a try. Make sure they're on brand. Like, don't don't move too far away from your brand. Make sure that like it still is commenting or making a joke about or having some sort of context that has to do with your industry. So there's still the educational nature. Make it funny, have the call to action, have it fit in your strategy, and still do like some of the normal like conversion tracking things. Like if you're going to put a link in it, make a specialty one out of like, go to like bit.ly and create like a special link that you use in your story or in your reel that people can click on. And so that way you can say like, oh, okay, like so many people clicked on this specific post. And you can maybe make that for all your meme videos. And so that way you can look at it and say like, hey, our entertainment-centric posts drive this kind of traffic or get us however many views on our profile. And like, because like obviously views alone is not an adequate measurement of whether or not something did well. It's got to actually connect with other metrics that you're doing, like engagement and so on and so forth. But I think there's other opportunities too. Like if people are engaging with your post, like comment back.
Yeah.
Crazy idea to do on social media, right? But comment back, engage with the people, take the opportunity that this specific piece of content is gaining you to actually engage with people. Go on the people that liked you and go on and comment on their stuff. Like just do the extra, like really difficult grind work of just like going in and just taking advantage of the fact that like all these people are liking your content. You're now top of mind. Go and engage with them. And I'm sure there's lots of them. I mean, we know this. There's lots of people that see and like our content that like live in India.
Yeah.
They're never going to be a client, right? But there's some people that will be. And I think to not leverage the opportunity presented to you is going to be a mistake. And especially the commenters. It doesn't really matter where they're from. Engage back because that's part of the algorithm. So don't want to mess that up. So thank you so much for joining us for this episode. I hope you go and make some meme videos, make people laugh, make people smile, build your brand. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Wanna cause no problems. I just wanna live my life, but I keep on hearing about nonsense. Me and my dons ain't mobsters.